Good day, everyone. This is just a recap of what we have been doing in school. So, we're talking about argumentative essays, and it's for those that need a refresher. So, we're looking at what is an argumentative essay? That's what we're looking at this time. So, in an argumentative essay, you take a position and you support it with facts, examples, reasoning, and you explain why one side is weaker. You're also trying to convince your reader, right? So, just like we did in ethos, pathos, logos, we are using those in our argumentative writing. So, we can use those to help us to develop our essays. So, here we're looking at an introduction paragraph. What's an introduction paragraph? So we could say, did you know most students only have 20 minutes to eat lunch? Imagine rushing through a lunch line every day. Or every student deserves time to eat and recharge. So those are examples of our hook. So what could be the essay topic? Hmm, maybe it's about lunch periods should be longer. Now we'll talk about more of that. So we have some background information. And in the bottom, it says many middle school students give very short lunch period. Students often wait in long lines and barely have enough time to eat. Could be the same for teachers, right? Now, here is something that we have done in class. For some of you who remember, some of you may not remember. But this is what we've done in class. What we've done in class. Oh, students should get to skip class without consequence. So, is that something that we should do? Is that something that we shouldn't do? Right? Because some students always come to school late, always come to class late, and sometimes they just skip class. So, we did this in class where you were to match the title to the sentences, and some of you did a beautiful job. And if you're just watching this to learn, you could have this printed and cut them all up, each topic, and then have the students match it. Some students that I've learned from said this is one of a good way to teach students to start it out. And what does this hook have, as we just talked about? It starts with a question. Have you ever sat in class thinking, I wish I could just skip and do something fun instead? So this is a hook. And we'll talk a little more. So what we talk about is a thesis statement. So what's a thesis statement? A thesis statement, thesis, those who don't know the spelling of that word, is one sentence that summarizes what your essay is about. Again, it's just one sentence that summarizes what your essay is about. How do you state your opinions clearly? How do you develop your thesis? That's what I was supposed to say. One, you state your opinions clearly. So we're going to look at some steps. One of the first thing is you start with a question. Example, lunchtime should be longer. Hmm? You choose a side. Lunchtime should be longer because students need to talk to friends, use bathroom, and have fun. We hear that every day. Now, you add in key arguments. What are key arguments? Important arguments. Middle school students should have longer lunch periods because it improves health, increase focus, and reduces stress. So let's go to the next slide. Here we have what we call a body paragraph. And yes, it's a lot of things. First, you present your first point. Longer lunch improves student health. We're losing our logos. I know we've gone over that. According to school nutrition studies, students who rush lunch often do not finish their meals. Here we're adding ethos. Experts from school health organizations say students need enough time to eat properly. Here we're adding pathos. No student should feel hungry during class because they didn't have time to eat. So we've done logos, pathos, ethos. And you're using that in your argumentative essay. So for those that didn't get to practice, those that missed something, those that came late, yeah, we've gone over some of these things in class. And some of you did great on the project. And some of you did great on when I say the project that you did outside, that's hanging outside of some of the classrooms, and pathos, ethos. And that one was done that students should have healthier lunch. So this is also on lunch. One was on healthier lunch. This one we're using in this example is about what? Longer lunch. And some of you did some great artwork along with it. So I just want to jog your memory. And remember, logos, ethos, pathos as you write. Now, you're going to also address your counterclaim. I'm at address your counterclaim in the green area. Some people believe short lunches keep the school schedule on time. And then you can refute. When we say refute, I'm using my Greek or my Latin root words. Look at that. Refute, or am I not using any? Remember, most words that start with re, the meaning again. Redo, do it again. Everybody got that? So we're going to refute the counterclaim. We're going to write something against it. However, healthy students learn better, which makes class time more effective. Everybody got that? Now let's continue. So let's look at number 4. We're talking about lunch. Longer lunch increases your focus. Here you can use logos. Students who eat full meals have more energy and better concentration. An example, when students finish lunch, they return to class ready to learn instead of feeling tired. Here's your counterclaim. Some argue longer lunches wasted time. And what's our refute? In reality, focus students complete work faster and learn more. So, look at our third point. In our third point, we're saying longer lunches reduces stress. What is our logos example? Breaks help students reset and prepare for afternoon classes. What is our ethos example? Teachers often notice better behavior after students have enough break time. Here's a counterclaim. Some people or some believe students may become too relaxed. The refute is structures lunchtime still maintain rules. Everybody got that? So we're looking at what we're writing. So here are 3 paragraphs that you're shown on what you can use an example. Now, what do we do in our conclusion? In our conclusion, we can do restate our thesis. Students should have longer periods to support health. And you talk about health in the first body paragraph. Then we talk about focus. Then we talk about well-being. And what are our main points? We improve health, increase focus, and it reduces stress. So what could be your closing argument? Schools should give students enough time to eat so they can succeed in class. Now we're going to go to the next slide. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is just saying what this essay covers. Everything that you may see in a Florida Best exam. Now we're going to go over to this argumentative essay. Should middle school students be given homework on weekends? Ah, you don't even want homework on weekdays. Now weekends? Yeah. Should students be given homework on weekends? Homework should not be given to middle school students on weekends. Why? Imagine, this is what the essay I have for you. Imagine finishing a long week of school to realize your weekend is full with homework. Middle school students already spend hours learning, completing assignment, and studying during the week. Weekends are important for resting, spending time with family, and participating in activities outside of school. Middle school students should not be given homework on weekends because they need time to recharge, explore interests, and return to school ready and to learn. Okay, so what I want you to do while you're reading, figure out the claim, figure out the hook. We did claim in quarter 1. We're doing a little bit more in quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. So just to remember, just like you did, wild animals should not be kept at home. Wild animals should be kept at home. We did that in Right of Us. Or you can also do that on your own. So I need everyone to look at this. Figure out the claim. Figure out the hook. What is a hook? Hook could be a statement or hook could be a question, but it's something that draws the reader. So let's go to the body paragraph. I want you to take some time and read it. You can pause the video, read the body paragraph. And after you read the body paragraph, then you go on to the next one. Because we learn to write by learning from others. So I need you to focus and look at that. Then here's your conclusion. I need you to read that because in the following slides, you're going to come up with some on your own. So go ahead and read that first. You have example. Some of you may want to write it down. Take a picture, whichever one you want to do, as long as when you're finished, you're able to use this example to learn to write your essay. So let's go ahead and look at this. Another argumentative essay. Here is where you're going to fill in the blanks. Should middle school students receive detention after school? Some of you don't even want any detention. But if you behave well, no detention. So let's look at this. This is the position that we're taking. Detention should not be used after school, or some of us, I would say detention should be on weekends. I know, I'm going to see those faces, right? So, should not be after school. Maybe you should get on weekends. Or maybe you should just do well in school, behave wonderful. All right, so let's go to your essay. Imagine you're going to fill in the blanks. You start your hook with imagine, and then many middle school students finish that. And what are you going to finish that with? I think I know. It's talking about the tension on weekends. So what do I want you to do? I want you to get a piece of paper, write your hook, write your background information, write your after school, write your thesis statement. And what are you going to be using? Let's go all the way back. Can you use this one as an example? Or you can use something like this as an example. Any one of those. I'm trying to find the other one. Something like this as an example. As long as you come up with a hook, you could start with imagine. You could do a question, but you need to come up with the hook. You need to fill in the background. Yes, some of you can do some beautiful jobs. So that's what I want you to work on. The next set of slides is going to have you fill in your body paragraph. So yes, it doesn't matter which day you have school. You need to bring in this to me. So after you do your body paragraph, then you're going to do what? Your conclusion. And some of you are not going to want to write any sentences. I don't want any letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, D, K, A, K, J. We need sentences. You see, like how you know some terms that you use that you should not use. I want you to use the correct vocabulary. And you have some sentence starters, hook starters here. And you also have some correct vocabulary that I want you to use. If you don't know the meaning, I want you to find the meanings. But you can do this. So this is a refresher for some. And for those that may not have that started school in January, you have an idea of what we need to do. So I need you to do this. Write it in your notebook because it will be checked. So thank you, everyone, and have a superb day.